Hi, this is a video tutorial that will guide you to code on this platform in such a way that you pass all the test cases and meet all the program requirements. I have taken railway ticket generation as an example. So if you read this problem description, you will understand that the objective of this problem is to generate tickets automatically. And we need to generate a total of 20 tickets. So how are we going to generate these 20 tickets? So we basically require two inputs from the user. One input is a starting number and the other input is your interval. So there is certain conditions to be followed while getting the starting number and the interval values from the user. So the first condition is that the starting number should be a 4-digit positive number, otherwise it is considered as an invalid number. So you should make sure that the user enters only a 4-digit positive number as a value for the starting number. And the second condition for the interval is that you have to consider all the non-positive values and zeros as invalid interval values, which means the interval can have only positive values and nothing else. So these two are the major conditions that needs to be checked while the programmer is writing the code so that you are able to pass all the test cases mentioned in this program. Apart from these two conditions, there is another requirement which is explicitly specified. That is requirement function declaration. So apart from the main function, you need to have another function void display registration numbers int interval int starting number. So this function is going to be used and it should be used in your program. Only then will this condition be satisfied. So you need to use a function display registration numbers, inside which you might have to write logic to display the registration numbers. And that function must have the return type as void and it should accept two integer values. Now let's take a look at the two test cases given for having a clearer understanding on this problem. So the first test case given is when the user is prompted to enter the starting number, he enters 7. So when he enters the number 7, it clearly violates the rule that the number should be a 4-digit positive number, otherwise it is called as it is considered to be an invalid number. So since 7 violates this rule, the user is prompted with this message saying, please enter a valid 4-digit starting number. In the second case, the user enters the value 1980, which is obviously a 4-digit positive number. So that is a correct number. Now when he is prompted to enter the interval, he enters 5, which again satisfies the condition where the interval should be only a positive value and nothing else. So since both the conditions are satisfied, we get the output as per required. So we are supposed to generate 20 ticket numbers. If you see how the ticket numbers are to be numbered, the first ticket number is 1985. So how do you think we get this 1985? So 1985 is 1980, which is a starting number, plus the interval. So your first number is your starting number plus your interval. Then when you look at the second number, that is 1990, 1990 is got by adding 1985 with 5. The third number 1995 is got by adding 1990 with 5. The fourth number 2000 is got by adding 1995 with 5. So this is the logic that should be followed in order to generate the 20 ticket numbers. And the output should be got only if the starting number and the interval is entered correctly. They should be in the correct format and they should satisfy all the conditions. If at all any one of the numbers are not entered correctly, as in the first test case, you need to print the appropriate message onto the screen. So this is basically what the problem statement is, and these are the requirements that is asked by the programmer. Now let's see how to code the program. To write the program, you need to go to the edit section, and in the edit section, this is the code that I have already written. For those of you who are entering this question for the first time or looking at this question for the first time, this area will be blank or it will be empty and you will have to type your code. I have already written my code, so my code appears in this area. So I'll just explain to you how my code is and what the logic is. As I have been asked to write another function, display registration number, wherein I'll be writing my logic, I have fulfilled that condition as you can see here. So in my main, I've got two values. One is the starting value and the next one is the interval. And I have passed the starting value and the interval to my function display registration number. So in my registration number, I have written the logic to generate the 20 ticket numbers. So I've said sum is equal to starting number plus interval. And I have run my loop 20 times because I want 20 registration ticket numbers to be printed. So I print sum and I increment the value of sum with the interval. So this is the logic that I have written. You can write your own logic provided you get the correct output. So now let us compile this program and see if I am getting the correct output. So while compiling, let's say I am giving my starting number as 2000 and I am entering an interval of 5. Yes, I am getting the output as 2005 to 2100, which is 20 registration numbers starting from 2005 and ending in 2100. So my program works well and it gives me the output that is required. Now let's evaluate and see how much I am getting. When I evaluate, I am getting only a grade of 40 by 100, which means I have failed certain test cases. So I have failed 3 test cases. The first one is the invalid number check, the second one is the negative number check, and the third one is the invalid number check alone. I'm getting these test cases. I'm not able to pass these test cases because there was a requirement in my problem saying I need to check if the starting number and if my interval are valid. If the user is entering valid numbers for my starting number and my interval. Since I haven't written those check statements, that is why I am not able to pass these test cases. So I need to completely satisfy what is required of me. So now let's rewrite this code by writing in whatever is required. So I need to write conditions to check if my starting number is valid, and I need to write conditions to check if my interval is valid. So let's rewrite this code a little bit. So as of now, I will be removing these set of statements, and I've already returned the code in advance. Yes, so I have already returned the code in advance and I have just pasted it here. So as you can see, I have pasted my piece of code where I am going to check the values of my starting number and my interval. So I am going to check if my starting number is a positive 4-digit number in this if statement, and only if this condition is true, the statements inside my if block is going to be executed. So what if my number is not satisfying the condition of being a positive 4-digit number? In that case, I am going to print the appropriate message on the screen asking the user to enter a valid 4-digit starting number. So that part is taken care of. Now I need to get the value of interval checked. So I have a condition saying the interval value should be only positive values. It should not be 0 or any negative value. So here I have given the check interval greater than 0. The display registration number needs to be called. The interval, only if the interval is greater than 0, the appropriate function, that is display registration number, needs to be called. So I will be calling this function only if the conditions are true. So what if my interval is not a positive number and if it is 0? In that case, I will be printing the appropriate value, that is please enter a positive interval. So if you take a close look at this code, my function will be called, or my required output will be called only if both these conditions are satisfied. That is, my starting value, my starting number should be satisfying the condition, and my interval value should be satisfying the condition. Only if both these values satisfy, I will be able to get the desired output. Even if either one of these don't satisfy, I will be getting the actual statement that needs to be printed on the screen will be printed to the user. So if the starting value is not satisfying the condition, I will be printing please enter a valid 4-digit starting number, and if the interval doesn't satisfy the value, the required condition, I will be printing please enter a positive interval. So both these conditions are taken care of, and hence my code is completely safe. So you can just take a look at my code. This is my logic. You can write your program in your own logic. So now let's see if this will satisfy all the conditions and if I am able to pass all the test cases. So I'll save this program and let's compile and run. And let's give an invalid value as a starting number and see if it is giving me the appropriate message on the screen. Yes, I've got the correct message on the screen saying please enter a valid 4-digit number. So my conditions are actually taken care of, and now when I evaluate, yes, I've got my proposed score is 100 out of 100 because I have passed all the test cases. So each and every condition is taken care of in my program. That is, all the requirements that was given in my problem description has been implemented in my program. That is why I have been able to pass all the test cases. So I hope this video was useful for you, and if you also follow the same strategy of satisfying all the conditions specified in your problem statement and implementing them in your program, you will also be able to pass all the test cases. Thank you.